Osun State has a governor for the next 4 years, and it's the man who was already sitting in that office. Governor Ademola Adeleke has defeated the ruling APC's candidate in one of the most closely watched governorship elections Nigeria has seen this cycle, a race the party's own campaign figures had openly tied to their 2027 presidential strategy. Here's exactly what happened, how he won, and what it means for both parties heading into 2027. This is the Policy Pulse HQ. We follow Nigerian politics with the facts, the context, and the receipts. And this result matters well beyond Osun's borders, because both major parties had spent the last several weeks treating this race as a preview of the fight to come. If you want Nigerian politics explained with the facts, the context, and the receipts, subscribe to the Policy Pulse HQ. Osun voted for governor on Saturday, August 15, 2026. Voting was followed by counting at 3,763 polling units, then collation moving through ward, local government, and finally state level, a process that ran through the night and into Sunday morning. At approximately 7:24 a.m. on Sunday, August 16, the State Returning Officer, Professor Joshua Olalekan Ogunwole, Vice-Chancellor of the Federal University Oyebamiji, formally declared the result at INEC's State Collation Center in Osogbo. His exact words, as reported, Ademola Nuruddin Jackson Adeleke, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner of the August 15 governorship election and returned elected. The final figures: Adeleke Accord Party 511,067 votes, Oyebamiji APC 444,815 votes, a margin of 66,252 votes. Najim Salam of the ADC finished a distant third with 17,180 votes. Total votes cast were 1,005,800, of which 985,907 were valid and 20,721 were rejected. Adeleke carried 19 of Osun's 30 local government areas. Oyebamiji won the remaining 11. A few confirmed structural factors are worth naming. Adeleke ran as the sitting incumbent, which typically carries real advantages in visibility, state-level machinery, and name recognition. That's a general pattern in Nigerian gubernatorial politics, not something specific to this race alone. His nephew, Afrobeat star Davido, played an unusually visible and active public role throughout the campaign, not just as a supportive relative, but as someone who publicly pressured INEC over upload delays on election day itself and who was actively present at the Osogbo Collation Center as results came in. Analytically, having a globally recognized public figure that engaged and vocal throughout a state election is unusual, and it's reasonable to think it added visibility and energy to Adeleke's campaign beyond what a typical gubernatorial race generates, though isolating exactly how much that contributed to the vote margin itself isn't something this script can quantify from available reporting. The margin, roughly 13 percentage points among valid votes, is not narrow, but it also isn't an overwhelming landslide. It's confirmed as a clear win, not confirmed as a mandate of historic scale. APC's Bola Oyebamiji, backed by former Osun governor and current federal minister Goyeba Oyetola, lost by that 66,252 vote margin, carrying 11 of 30 local government areas. The party has not, in reporting available at time of writing, formally conceded or formally announced a legal challenge. As multiple outlets note, Oyebamiji or the APC retained the option to challenge the result in court, but as of this recording, they had not indicated they would do so. During collation on Saturday night, Davido publicly alleged that Senate Majority Leader Oyebamiji Bamidele, Senator Oyemileko Adeola, and lawmaker James Faleke, all present in Osun campaigning for the APC candidate, were, in his words, making extra moves to upturn the results. Faleke responded directly and on record on his verified X account, rejecting the allegation outright. He said his presence in Osun was solely to support his party's candidate, drew a direct comparison to Davido's own advocacy for his uncle, and stated, INEC is a body that can't be influenced by me or anyone else. He added he had never rigged or influenced an election in his career. This remains an unresolved, disputed exchange, a serious allegation made publicly, and a direct, named, on-record denial. No independent evidence has confirmed Davido's specific claim, and INEC's own declared result did not change from what was being reported as Adeleke's lead throughout that period of collation. For Adeleke personally, this is a genuinely significant political achievement. Re-election on a different party platform than the one that first elected him, having left PDP to accord, and defeating a national ruling party's coordinated campaign in the process. For APC, this is confirmed as a second consecutive loss of Osun's governorship under a Tinubu presidency. The party lost the seat in 2022 and has now failed to reclaim it in 2026, despite senior federal figures, including a sitting minister's political network, actively campaigning for Oyebamiji. For Accord Party, this cements it as a genuinely viable statewide platform in Osun, beyond being simply a vehicle Adeleke moved to, though whether that translates into broader Accord strength elsewhere in Nigeria remains untested. Nationally, multiple outlets and political figures, including an ADC-aligned chieftain, quoted separately claiming no Southerner can defeat Tinubu, a comment made before this result, had already framed Osun as a 2027 preview. That framing will likely intensify now that the actual result has landed against APC's national ruling party. One further confirmed detail worth noting. Accord Party chieftain Pelumi Olajembesi told journalists at the Collation Center on Saturday that President Tinubu personally called Governor Adeleke to congratulate him on the win shortly after INEC's declaration, a notable gesture from the head of the party that just lost the race.
Adeleke is now returned as governor for a second term. Nothing in available reporting suggests any procedural obstacle to him being sworn in and continuing in office. The APC's legal options remain open under Nigerian electoral law. Oyebamiji or the party could file a petition at the Governorship Election Tribunal. As of this recording, neither had publicly indicated whether they intend to do so. Separately, and worth flagging as an ongoing thread, reporting indicates Adeleke has moved to set up an inquiry into election-related killings and violence connected to the campaign period, a genuinely important accountability question this channel will continue to follow, separate from the result itself. Do you think this changes the balance of power in Osun? Tell me what you think in the comments. Let's be fair to both sides here. Adeleke's win is a confirmed, declared result with a clear margin, not a contested photo finish. That's a real political achievement, regardless of what you think of the campaign's tone. But it's also fair to note the campaign period itself was genuinely rough. Reporting throughout described vote-buying allegations against both major parties, BVAS technical problems, and documented violence serious enough that European Union observers flagged delayed voting and process challenges, and that Adeleke himself is reportedly setting up an inquiry into campaign-related killings. A clear, declared win doesn't erase those concerns. Both things are true simultaneously. Adeleke won decisively under Nigerian electoral law as it stands, and the process that produced that win included real documented problems worth continued scrutiny, regardless of who ultimately benefited from the result. What could still change the picture? A tribunal petition from APC were one filed, though as of now none has been confirmed. Beyond that legal question, the political story, what this means for 2027, is now a matter of ongoing analysis rather than something either side can dispute on the numbers. Osun has spoken, and INEC has made it official. Ademola Adeleke goes back into Government House for 4 more years, having beaten a ruling party that treated this race as a rehearsal for 2027. Whether that rehearsal tells APC anything useful or whether Osun turns out to be its own story with its own local dynamics is exactly the kind of question we'll keep tracking as the road to 2027 actually begins. If you want us to keep following this story as new developments emerge, subscribe to the Policy Pulse HQ, turn on notifications and stay with us. The short may give you the headline, but here we follow the full story and the receipts.